Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Welcome to Football Game Plan's Power Rankings here on the Game Plus Network. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and we have an action-packed show for you guys this week. We'll talk CFL, Heisman Trophy, college football, but now that opening week in the NFL is complete, let's lead off the show by taking a look at our NFL Power Rankings for Week 2. And fresh off of their 59-10 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins kick off our Week 2 Power Rankings at number 32. You hate to see a team lose as bad as they did, but Miami came out flat against a Ravens bunch that was firing on all cylinders. You hope that this was the wake-up call that a young team needed, but I don't believe the players and coaches are tanking, contrary to popular belief, and they'll have to look much better this upcoming week against the New England Patriots, or things could go downhill really fast for new head coach Brian Flores. The New York Giants check in this week at number 31. I don't think the Giants were terribly bad against the Dallas Cowboys. Just saw a lot of miscommunication in the secondary, and a lot of big plays were given up as a result. The positive is that Saquon Barkley looks to be ready for yet another stellar season, and the hope is that the rest of the team can catch up to his excellence. Looking at teams 26 through 30, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense did a solid job against San Francisco last week. Quarterback Jameis Winston did not, as he tossed 2 pick sixes, which ended up being the difference in that ball game. Washington squandered a 17-point lead in a loss to Philadelphia, and the Broncos couldn't figure out the Oakland Raiders on Monday night, and the Lions and Cardinals ended up in a 27-all tie in what was one of the more thrilling games in Week 1. And speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, it was a tale of two halves, as head coach Cliff Kingsbury actually admitted to being a bit too cute with his play calling in the first half. Now, he got back to basics in the second half, which allowed Kyler Murray, the rookie quarterback out of Oklahoma, to get more comfortable, subsequently having more success and nearly leading a comeback victory for the Cardinals in Week 1. Now, the way they responded to adversity definitely gives you optimism moving forward. Moving right along to teams 21 through 25, and the New York Jets started out really well against the Buffalo Bills before not being able to capitalize on 4 turnovers. Their offense has to find a way to get it together. Jacksonville loses their starting quarterback Nick Foles for an extended period of time as he broke his collarbone after throwing a beautiful deep touchdown pass to DJ Chark, but Gardner Minshew looked good in relief, the rookie out of Washington State, so we'll see how that goes moving forward. Atlanta lost their starting rookie right guard Chris Lindstrom for an extended period of time as well in a defeat at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings. And what an impressive showing for the 49ers' new look defense as they harassed Jameis Winston all game long, getting a victory down there in Tampa. And speaking of harassing, that's what the Buffalo Bills defense did to Sam Darnold and the Jets throughout the entire game, helping lead the comeback victory against Gang Green in Week 1. Also, quarterback Josh Allen was able to find some consistency late in the fourth quarter as he hit John Brown for a deep touchdown pass. And if this offense in Buffalo can play consistent football from start to finish, things could get very interesting out there in Orchard Park this season. Let's move on to teams 16 through 20, and Pittsburgh's offense was non-existent against the New England Patriots on Sunday night, and in all honesty, they didn't fare well defensively either. They have to get better. Neither did the Cleveland Browns in their Week 1 matchup against the Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions and was harassed all game long as the Browns lost by 30 at home. Carolina was in a tough tug-of-war matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, but couldn't muster up enough offense to pull off the slight upset against the reigning NFC champions. And what a game for Cincinnati as they gave the Seahawks all they could handle at home. I think many would say that they were more impressive in a loss than anything. Now, you want to get the win, but what a great showing initially for Zach Taylor, their new head coach, and that Cincinnati Bengals football team. But one of the more impressive wins in week 1 came from the Oakland Raiders against the Denver Broncos. We saw Oakland get a complete team victory on Monday night. The passing game was clicking, the running game was competent. Defensively, they got after Joe Flacco, and they played solid special teams. So we'll see if they can make it 2 in a row against AFC West opponents as they play host to Kansas City this upcoming weekend. The Indianapolis Colts were able to push the Los Angeles Chargers into overtime in week 1 as new starting quarterback Jacoby Brissett acclimated himself really well in that matchup, and Seattle earned their victory the hard way against Cincinnati. Tennessee was dominant in their blowout win over the Browns, and Chicago played a great game defensively but couldn't find their offense in a loss to Green Bay. What a game for Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings, and having a healthy Cook back there in the backfield looks to have made a significant difference in that Vikings offense. Defensively, they were dominant once again against Atlanta, making quick work of the Falcons at home. Moving into the top 10, and it's hard not to come away impressed with the defensive performance of the Green Bay Packers. They were active, aggressive, and disruptive as they completely shut down the Chicago Bears offensively. The Chargers found other ways to be successful offensively without Melvin Gordon, as Austin Eckler became a big-time factor in the passing game en route to a victory. Carson Wentz had himself a day as he found Deshaun Jackson on 2 beautiful deep ball passes that were touchdowns, leading the comeback against the division rival Washington Redskins. And the New Orleans Saints' Drew Brees showed why he's a future Hall of Famer, leading the comeback victory against the Houston Texans in what was a wildly entertaining and exciting game in the Superdome on Monday night. The other team in that matchup was the Houston Texans, whose quarterback Deshaun Watson played a fantastic game going toe-to-toe with Drew Brees. Watson's clutch performance on that last drive, throwing 2 perfectly placed and accurate darts for what will look to be the game-winning touchdown, is how legends are made. And if they can get right along the offensive line and shore things up in the secondary, the Texans could be super the rest of the way. And wrapping up our power rankings for week 2 with the top 5 teams, number 1 is unchanged as the Patriots completely dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers on both sides of the ball en route to a 33-3 drubbing on Sunday night. And I moved the Dallas Cowboys up to number 2 this week as their passing game looked extremely impressive against the New York Giants, which is a great sign as we know the running game will continue to get better with each passing week. The Chiefs lose Tyreek Hill for an extended period of time with an injured collarbone, but it won't matter as long as the reigning MVP, Pat Mahomes, is under center. And what a gutsy win for the LA Rams in Carolina. The way they fought through inconsistency from their passing game to get the win was impressive. But no one's performance was more impressive in week 1 than the Ravens franchise quarterback Lamar Jackson, who dominated from start to finish, going 17 of 20 for 324 yards and 5 touchdown passes. The new-look Ravens offense has a ton of speed on the perimeter as both rookie wide receivers Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin got into the end zone. The tight end position once again thrived as both Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews, who went over 100 yards receiving, were heavily involved, and free agent signee running back Mark Ingram made his presence felt as well, going over 100 yards rushing in his Ravens debut. Oh, by the way, their defense was their regular Ravens defense, completely dominating the Dolphins throughout the course of the game. Don't let folks minimize their success in week 1 because of the opponent. The Ravens look for real this season, and it will be fun to watch it play out the rest of the way. Keep it locked here on the Game Plus Network as Thursday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for more football game plan, as we'll have our NFL All 32 show breaking down week 2 in the NFL and our college football tailgate show where we get you ready for week 3 in college football.